that we've been talking in the book of Ephesians, where God is teaching us how to have a healthy family, a healthy life, a healthy body, and a healthy church. Very important because our God is preparing us for battle. He's preparing us for battle so we'll know the techniques, understand the resources that we have, learn how to protect those resources, and how to use them effectively. And God is preparing us to change the world. And we will be confident when we go into battle because this same battle would have been fought already in our lives as we're taking control of our lives and winning that battle. Now, that's why we're excited, because we know regardless of what anybody thinks, there's some Indians been enslaved in my world that I know been enslaved. Because I know what kind of impact they used to have on me. So I go into this battle with confidence, knowing that anyone else is in the same place that I was in. I know how to effectively, powerfully, and authoritatively lead them out. As we're talking about a healthy church and a healthy family, the thing you have to understand why this is so important, because family is the foundation of society. Family is the foundation of society. Every problem you see out there, every success you see out there came from someone's family. That's why Satan focuses his energy in the beginning on the family, the head of the family. Because if you mess up the mold, everything that comes behind it will be an exact duplicate of it. And this foundation of society, the family, was established by God to reflect the kingdom of heaven. Man and woman come together, forming a family to protect the vital functioning of creation. That was God's plan. That's still his plan and his objective. Unfortunately, as we've come to learn due to the fall, humanity is born under the spirit of dysfunction, characterized by conflict and strife. Therefore, when these individuals come together to form families, they naturally create dysfunctional families characterized by conflict and strife. And I'm sure you've heard that word, dysfunctional families, a lot of times in your life. It's a mystery why people are still trying to figure out what is the problem. Regardless of what you seem to do to try to fix it, you still end up being dysfunctional. And what we want to do today is understand that when these individuals come together to form families, they naturally create dysfunctional families characterized by conflict, confusion, and strife. This dysfunction also leads to different forms of child neglect and abuse. Sometimes intentional, most times not, by the parents in their attempts to get things in order. When this dysfunction of behavior occurs continuously and regularly, it leads to family members accepting such behavior as normal. Since COVID, you heard people constantly talking about when will things go back to normal. Well, that depends what normal is, and that depends on who you ask. Because normal is a relative topic. And what's normal for you is maybe chaotic for someone else. You know, I mean, we are different. And so as we are moving forward, hoping today God is going to give us an example of what how a family should operate. This relationship lays the foundation for a child's personality, life choices, and overall behavior. It can also affect the strength of their spiritual, social, physical, mental, and emotional health. This dysfunctional family and these relationships lays the foundation for the child's personality, life choices, and overall behavior. It can also affect the strength of their spiritual, social, physical, mental, and emotional health. You know, we hear being said a lot about how your environment impacts how you act, how you carry yourself. That is true. And so many times we're concerned about what our children are being exposed to on the outside. That's not their problem. Mm-hmm. Their problem is what are they experiencing at home, because that's what's developing their mindsets, their belief systems, Dysfunctional families, we must understand, exist in all levels of society, regardless of their social, financial, or intellectual status. Our society, therefore, is a direct reflection of these dysfunctional families characterized by conflict and strife, as each family brings their part to society's operation. You got to understand that. People are throwing money here and there trying to fix the problem, but until you decide you need to go where the source of the problem is, we'll just continually be throwing money at the same behavior over and over because we haven't pulled up the true tree and the roots that are creating the problem, which is the family. Whoever you named, whatever they done, they came from somebody's family, which shows the lack of the power and authority of God at work. Because we have to understand that this works against the proper functioning of humanity to protect the final functioning of creation. This has led to identity confusion in most people's lives. Therefore, people are confused about defining their purpose, values, goals, and objectives, and their place in life. People don't even know why they're here, what they want to do. They have no direction because we have an identity confusion. We don't even know who we are. Our objective is to know who we are before we get out there. To know who we are once we get to the place of talking and thinking, we already want to know who we are. Because who are we? Spirit created in the image and likeness of God. Behavior characterized by love, which is our discipline. That's who we are. You might be of this descent or that descent, but your descent is not who you are. It's where you came from. And it's good to know these things. That's why today we want to talk about a functional family. Today we want to talk about a functional family. We're going to be coming from Ephesians chapter 6, verses 1 through 4. A functional family. We are starting to talk the language of the kingdom. God created us to be functionally correct according to his plan. We're going to talk about a functional family. And in this conversation, we want to see if we can discover what a functional family looks like, what qualifies, how it works, and do I live in a functional family. You can't move forward until you find out which direction you need to go. So we want to try to find out today what a functional family looks like, what qualifies to be called a functional family, how it works, and do I live in a functional family? Because you have to understand what the issue is before you can give a remedy on what needs to be done to make things better. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1 reads, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, so that it may be well with you and that you may live long on the earth. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord." Let the church say amen. Amen. And it's got to be more than that. To have a functional family with all the issues we deal with. But God is a simple God, even though he's complex. He knows how to step down to everyone's level, to give you what you need without overwhelming you with a whole lot of information. He's short, he's precise, he's powerful, he's swift, and he's clear. But regardless of where you find yourself chronologically, if you can think, you can understand what God is trying to tell you. So with that said, we look at verse 1. It says, "Children, obey your parents because you belong to the Lord, for this is the right thing to do. Honor your father and mother. Honor your father and mother that you may live long on the earth." Just think about what he just said, children. How many of you all want to live a long life, children? I just want to see who wants to live a long life. And so if there's anyone that wants to leave early, maybe we can talk to you and help you understand the importance that you bring to our lives so you can stay here and not cut us short. Mm-hmm. Any young people want to live a long life? Let me see your hands. If you don't raise your hand to show me that you might not care. You might be wanting to leave. And be careful now. God is a loving God. If you don't want to live a long time, he said, child, come on. We don't want to take you through such stress. So if you're ready to go, keep your head down. And if you're ashamed to let you know, and don't want to, I got to find your hand, he might be saying you might still need to come home. See, if I hear something like that, I'd be like this. I love you, Lord. I want to come to heaven, but Lord, let's take our time getting there. Because I know time is not an issue for you. It's always today with you, Lord. So anytime I come will be today. But unfortunately, you created me to have many days. You told me right here that I can live a long time. So I know your will for me is not for me to hurry home. Let that marinate. If he said that he will give me long life, God has no desire for me to hurry up and come home. Not like we do, because we are stuck with tomorrow. Our kids go away. We say, I ain't seen them in a long time. They ain't called me. They ain't did nothing. Oh, they ain't been a month since they called me. God is always today. He doesn't have that concern. But he has a concern for us to be here a while. For as long as you like. I've ordered at least 120. 120 at least. I said before 120. Then I thought about it. And I said, you know what? Let me have at least 120 in case you want to give me 160. I never want to cut God short. Because he said he has stuff for me that I can't think of. And it might require me to go past 120 to see it. He be like, Kurt, look, man, you asked 120, but look what I had left to show you. What? Look at what awesome bunch of crab legs I missed. That's the inside joke. But we don't want to miss nothing that God has in store for us. That's the point I'm trying to say. And if he has it in store for me, it also means he wants me to enjoy it. Are you hearing me? So it doesn't matter when it comes, how it comes, trust me, you're going to love it. For those of you who have timelines, that it should have happened already. Are you with me? Praise God. Honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise. If you honor your father and mother, things will go well for you, and you will have a long life on earth. Young people, do you want things to go well for you or mediocre? I need your participation today. I know it's rough, but look, I need to know what to talk to God for you about. Young people, listen, any of you that want life to go well for you, can I see your hands again? Let me get them on up there so I don't want to miss you, sir. I didn't see that hand. And like, what my stuff? And I'm like, I didn't see your hand. Okay. Get it on up there. I need to see it past your head if you really want it. I need you to get embarrassed with this thing. Let me see your hand. Get it on past your head. I need to see it because I'm only looking head level. If I don't look see head level, I don't see your hand. Okay, I'm giving you a chance. Please get it past your head. God is patient. Come on, do it for me. Let me see it. I love you like that. Get it on up there just a quick second. Let me see it. Get it. One more, a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Just don't fight. Don't fight. Don't fight. Look at more. Look at more. Go on, do it. Do it. I know. Do it anyway. Just do it. I know. Yeah, come on. Here's the next one. This snake fly. There you go. That's how God be with us. Come on, son. A little bit more. A little bit more, son. Go on, get embarrassed for me. Lord help us. That's what he do us. I like love like that. Because the love people that I know love like, okay, you ain't got to take it. You act like you don't want it. You act like you do. But don't come asking for nothing off my plate. All right, I asked you what you want to order when we went to get something to eat. You say, I don't want nothing. That means to me you're not eating. Because when I order, I'm ordering for me. Don't think because of something I don't know that when I get mine, I'm going to be okay with you having some of mine. I might give it to you, but I'm going to have to grow. Because God is going to say, now, Curtis, You said you wanted life to go well for you. Sounds like you don't want nobody else to go with you. What about you? What are you after? What do you want? To obey means to comply with the command. See, you got to learn how to obey here before you can get it from up there. To obey means to comply with the command. Listen, obedience is better than sacrifice, and submission is better than offering the fat of rams. 1 Samuel 15, 17 through 22. God had told Saul, look, I want you to go into the city. I want you to defeat it. I want you to destroy everything in it. And we have to understand we have to change meaning to words when we become Christian. So we don't destroy number one. Bad stuff. Bad stuff. When you get ready to clean out your closet, your mind is going to throw out the old stuff. Until you look at stuff that you still like, but just haven't gotten around to, it's not doing you any business, but you have a hard time throwing it out. Throw out the ragged shoes. Why did they throw out my favorite suit? I mean, I don't wear it out, but it's a comfortable fit, but you weren't wearing it. Are you hearing me? So when we come to the Lord, we have to change the definition of words a lot. He told Saul, look, go into the city, I want you to destroy everything. Obviously, if God is telling you to go in there and destroy stuff, you know it's all bad. It's worthless. Saul goes in, him and his boys get busy. They kill all the people, some of them, but they save the fine stuff. You're like, man, that's a good thing. I just forgot I had them. I can't throw that away. Then when you come back and whoever was looking for you to do all this cleaning and changing, when they come back to respect, they were like, I thought you were supposed to be throwing away stuff. No. I threw away a lot of stuff. Yeah. What you call a lot of stuff when you look like you got more stuff now than you had? You didn't go shopping, did you? Well, not to the store. I just found it and brought it out to make it take up more room. Yeah. I hear you. That's not cleaning. Yeah, I'm funny. That's not being effective because you were not using it and this stuff no good to you. Yeah, I'm funny. Are you hearing me? Amen. So Saul and his boys, they done went in and they done had a victory. They done had it. It was like, the score was like 100-10. They ride back feeling good. Samuel meets him. Samuel was a little late. Samuel meets him and he says, Saul, I thought God told you to go and destroy everything, including the sheep, the animals, everything in your body. Why did you disobey the Lord? Here you come, children. Why did you disobey the Lord? I did what you told me to do. Samuel said, what's that bleating of the sheep I hear in my ear? Because if you kill everything, all I'm supposed to hear are your horses and your men. What is this extra noise I hear? Saul said, I did everything you told me, but, the people wanted to keep the good stuff. I saved the king, because he's very important. He's got knowledge that he could give us to help us in our pursuit moving forward to have a strong campaign. Isn't it amazing? You don't have the answer to life. You don't know how to defeat your enemy. You don't even know how to get your life together. You talk to God. God comes in and tell you what to do. Right on the end of your victory, you start planning how you're going to move forward. Okay. We got that done. Let's get that. This is what we're going to do tomorrow and next week. And this we need to do this. It was like, what did you do to get the victory that you have that you had no clue on how to get? Now all of a sudden you're a genius. Amen. You don't need me no more. You just needed to get out that little jam. Because that was the whole thing holding you back, the jam, right? But the question comes, how did you get in the jam? Yeah. You got in the jam because of what you don't know. Amen. You where you at right now, regardless of who you are where you are right now because of what you do not know. You're not where you are because of what you know. Amen. You where you are because God got you here. Yeah. And the problem is he seems to be silent on you now because you want to be somewhere else. Amen. And it ain't happening yet. Yeah. He's trying to let you understand. You ain't going to figure this out. The more you sit there and plan, probably you'll go back and tweak. I ain't gonna move. Because you seem to think you know the best way to do it. So he said, listen, Saul, let me tell you what happened. You just got your job. You just got the job. You've been on the job 1 hour. You got fired in the second hour. Because you did not follow instructions to the letter. You did not follow all the instructions. You say what you thought was the good stuff, like I'm in a shortage. You may not believe this. I just got a little information for you. There is no shortage of plastic bags. There is no belief that somewhere down the road they won't have more plastic bags. And let me share this with you. You're going to continue to shop. You're going to continue to have new plastic bags. Yeah. But Saul could not understand how you throw all this good stuff away. How you throw a good plastic bag away. How do you make yourself do that? I gotta ball it up and let it fall and lay on the floor before I throw a good plastic bag. There's so many uses. But use the ones you have. Then go restock. But in case there is a shortage, I will have enough to hold me over until they get that problem fixed. I understand completely. But you never know. Who thought COVID was coming, right? Amen. Read about plagues all your life. Yeah. Never thought you were experiencing in this advanced time, right? So I understand you got to always have an ace in the hole. It's called the Word of God, if you didn't know. See, God's blessing pipeline is the family unit. That is why the welfare around the families is so critical. God's blessing pipeline is the family unit. God's blessing pipeline is the family unit. That's why the welfare around our families is so critical. Critical, the family. Why Satan spend his greatest attention on being able to influence the family. If you weaken or destroy the family, you weaken and destroy your community and everything in it. If you weaken and destroy the family, you destroy your community and everything in it. Those drug dealers came from somebody's families. Those killers came from somebody's family. Those crooks and thieves came from somebody's family. Until we hold the family responsible for the condition of our society and put the energy toward improving the family condition, we will never improve or change society. Throwing money at families do not change families' behavior or attitudes. It just gives them opportunity to be more of whatever they are. Yeah. That's all money will do. It'll make you more of whatever you are. Yes. If you're crazy before you got money, yeah, you're going to be crazy when you get money. Yeah. If you was a crook before you got money, you'll be more of a crook when you get money. Because you're going to think of opportunities how to use that money you got to steal from somebody else. Because now you have more opportunity. Because we're where we are because of what we do not know. You destroy the family, you destroy your community and everything in it. Genesis 18, 18, and 19. And I know we've heard the story about Saul. I heard all what's went on with him and what we see in the Bible. But children, I want you to understand. Don't mistake obeying your parents to stay out of trouble as obedience God requires. Children, don't you mistake obeying your parents in order to stay out of trouble as obedience God requires. Although you are offering your best sacrifice, you are not following God's command to honor them also. Saul did part of what God told him, but he didn't do all God had told him. God said, obey your parents, honor them. And you're obeying. You got to do more than obey if you want the promise of God. You are not following God's command if that's all you offer is your sacrifice of obedience. This behavior may satisfy your parents, but it is done with wrong motive. Obedience without honor is not beneficial for pleasing God and receiving his promise. Children, your great duty to the family is to obey your parents and honor them. As children, God has given you one thing to do. But we'll say two. Obey and honor your parents. As a child, that's your mission. Getting good grades and pleasing the world and looking good before the world without honoring your parents is a waste of time if you want the blessings of God. Children, obey your parents and honor them. That is your great duty to the family. If you want to do your part in the family, obey your parents and honor them. That obedience includes inward reverence as well as outward acts. Be aware, God takes the sin of disobedience to parents very seriously. Not like your parents, because they just don't want to go through the house. They'll be like, go on for this and that. I'll do it myself. God's not like that. He'll delay, but you're going to pay. Let me show you just how serious God is about this obedience to parents in Deuteronomy 21, 18 to 21. If any person has a stubborn and rebellious son who does not obey his father or his mother, and when they discipline him, he does not listen to them, then his father and mother shall seize him and bring him out to the elders of his city at the gateway of his hometown. And they shall say to the elders of his city, this son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He does not obey us. He is thoughtless and given to drinking. Then all of the men of his city shall stone him to death. What? Whoa. Oh, slow down, man. Whoa. Slow down. I thought we were going to the church to talk to the pastor. You ain't tell me all this. You ain't be stolen. I don't mean get drunk. He says, not some of the men, not the weak ones, the big strong ones that can throw a rock a long way with a lot of philosophy, who love target practice. All the men of the city shall stone him to death. Now, you would consider that cruel and unusual punishment for a little disobedience, wouldn't you? He ain't go out and rob nobody. The world don't know we got a jacked up family. But you just being disobedient to your parents, not honoring. The way God handled this earlier, people, he removes the problem. He didn't pacify it. He didn't nurture it. He just said, let's get rid of it. Picture that. Picture that. You know, especially you kids that love to throw rocks. Just picture that. You going to the church to see the elders. Because you've been cutting out at home. And you already got in mind what you're going to tell them. They act up. You trying to tell me what to do. They ain't talking about that. They ain't no better off than me. You think you got another chance to prove to these grown folks they don't have a clue what they talking about. They old, they out of date, they don't have a clue what's going on today. They need to learn from us. They don't think so. And they in charge. and you show up and you see a big pile of rocks. And you think, I know they ain't gonna make me move them rocks no more. No, they don't want you to touch them. They want the rocks to touch you. Just imagine that. For you all that think getting a whipping is child abuse. Those who got threatened to call social services. Look how well off you have it. You get to live to see another day. That wasn't God's original plan for you. You still gonna pay, but you might get to live a little while longer here. Stone them to death. Why would you do such a thing? So you shall eliminate the evil from your midst. And all Israel will hear about it and fear. The rest of your clan will be like, man, what are you doing there? You can come back to Mama. You won't believe it. They killed my brother Leroy. They just beat him to death with rocks. He didn't die slow. He didn't die fast. He was hollering. He was screaming, please, Mama, Daddy, I'm sorry. I'm gonna obey after the day, Lord. Just Mama, just please save me. Mama might want to come. Go out there if you want it, you're gonna get one. Mama decided she needed to come home and raise the others and warn them. If you don't start listening, your next move is death. He did it so they would be afraid. We were afraid to get whoopers at our house. It put fear in your heart. Your siblings could put fear in your heart. All they had to do is say, I'm going to tell Daddy. You would bribe them. You would be good to them. And you would watch them closely. When you got home. They go to tie him up. Because they knew. Back in my day, you thought Daddy was going to kill you. Your mother even thought sometime he was going to kill you. That's why she didn't call on him unless it was absolutely necessary. And you knew when you had passed that line. She said, you know what? That's all right, let me tell you, Daddy will get home. She don't say nothing else. She don't say nothing else. And your day is ruined. You go to sleep. Out of depression and anxiety. But then you're like, I don't need this workout too often. Good. Don't act like you're still here. What is this I hear about you today? Oh, you grown now, huh? Oh, are you talking like to your mama? Didn't I tell you, boy, that mouth? That's all right. Go give me a switch. And you know. You out there, you black. You know you make your back with one. You gotta give you 3, 4 of them nice dogwoods that are flexible. Don't break. And you wrap them up together yourself and you take them to them. You got that right. Now come over here, boy. Didn't I tell you finally that whatever your mama tell you, that's all right. You gonna do it again. No, son, shut up. You gonna do it again. No, son, I tell you, shut a good aim on you every time. Then you drop. Don't you put your leg, oh, you gonna put your legs up. Yeah, I tell you, boy, you hard yourself. You gonna learn today. You gonna learn today. Jump up hard. Junior. Yeah, I hear you. He on a mission. I want you to understand. Do you understand me? Yes, sir. Now shut it up. Dry it up right now. Didn't I tell you to shut up, boy? I ain't gonna get some milk. Straighten that face up, too. You wrong. Now let me come back here again and hear you been acting like you wrong, yeah? No, sir, Daddy. No, sir, Daddy. Come here, boy, let me look at you. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Let me see your face. What's that? Lord have mercy. I told you about being so hard, boy. That's what I do when I tell you. Yeah. You keep on here. Yeah. Keep being hard headed. Ain't nothing I can do. Yeah. I'm gonna put some of this stuff on you. Look at that kind of seat over there. Y'all just don't know. Y'all got me. That stuff you use up. Green tea or corn. No, it was kerosene. You said kerosene and put it in them holes, some whips. That's what I'm telling y'all. I got that cross and kernel stuff that don't burn. Smell good. They see you coming, they know you gotta be. You stay at home until you heal. Yeah. You got a big down. Yeah. Webs everywhere, all over your face and neck. Yeah. So you probably go to jail today for that, but that was to prepare you. So you know, allow your children in that position because you know how to teach them. To save them from stoning. Yeah. At least I didn't kill you like God does. Yeah. God wants us to understand the importance of obedience to your parents. You know, to this day, I've never cursed at my parents. Yeah. I've never said a swear word. You're 65. Yeah. I don't say anything that they consider swearing. Yeah. I don't even say I clap. Right? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Or yes and no. I'm careful how I say, Mom, Daddy. See, that was training. You show them respect at all times. Because you are always going to be my child. My dad told me that at 60. You know better than sitting up in this kitchen when I'm cooking. I'm going, hey, what y'all got going on today? Get out of here. I'm cooking. Get out of here, boy. I'm 60-something. I said, these type of things make me have to look in the mirror and remind myself that I am an adult. Because of this thing that they plant in your mind that you're just a child. Yeah. But it's done me good. It's done me well. Amen. And they shall stone him to death so everybody will fear. Because see, God searches the heart and tests the mind to give you according to your ways and your deeds. It's not like some of those, look, that's all right. You know, let him go, that's all right. He'll be all right this time. Oh, no. What? No, that's not acceptable. I mean, they use different language back then, but, you know, mothers didn't even dare intercede when that time came. Yeah. You know why you called me. You couldn't do nothing different. You gonna make me the bad guy? I'm gonna be the bad guy. You're going to start being careful when you call me in. Yeah. I want everybody to suffer from this. Nobody going to be out today saying, now I'm glad you got that. You all right? No, baby. You love me. You just got to learn how to do what you know. All that talking back in life. You see, you may have done what your parents asked, but not in the spirit God demands, which is honor and reverence. Yes. Why are you angry that your parents have demands on you anyway? That is the way of the family. That's just the way. As they have the responsibility to raise you in the way that you should go, your parents are training you to function in life as God intended. That's their responsibility. They're going to be held accountable for what they put out there on society. They're going to have to pay a price for it. Another thing, children, how do you treat your siblings whom your parents seem to show regard for what they do? How do you treat them? Do you edify and build them up? Or are you constantly trying to prove they ain't all that? Definitely with no chips. What are you doing? Are you constantly trying to make them look bad? Reveal their shortcomings so mom and dad can realize I'm just as good as they are. So, but these are the things that God has told us not to do. You can see that in Genesis 48 between Cain and Eve. See, Cain wanted to give God his sacrifice, not what God asked for. Your parents asked you for a certain sacrifice, which is obedience. You think bringing home A's and teachers talking good about you and other folks liking you, you think that should be enough for them. Because Leroy on that bring home else. Why you always on me? You need to be talking to Leroy. Look at your son. Look at your dog over there. Look at what they're doing. They should be studying. At least I study. What are you doing? That's not what God has called us to do. See, because you're going to take that out there. And you're going to impact our society. Trying to get your own way at the expense of disobeying and honoring your parents is greed and evil. Therefore, don't keep your attention on yourself if you want your life to work out well for you. Honor your father and mother. Things will go well for you, and you will have a long life on earth. That's it. Honor your mother and father and obey them, and you will live a long life. That's a guarantee. That's a promise. Now, the key is you want to make sure that's a good life and not a bad life. Are you hearing me? Because sometimes you might just want to leave it get so bad. But God wants you to understand that He will have His way. Trying to get your own way at the expense of disobeying and honoring your parents is greed and evil. Therefore, don't keep your attention on yourself if you want your life to work out well. Honor your father and mother, and things will go well for you, and you will have a long life. Even a child, God lets us know that even children, you are showing your own character by your behavior, whether it's upright or not. You can find it in Proverbs chapter 20, verse 1. So you are without excuse, and you are held accountable by God on your behavior. And all you're doing now as children is you are designing the type of life you're going to have as an adult. Because of God's promises to you that if you don't honor your parents and show them reverence, your life is going to be the same way. You will not receive honor nor reverence from nowhere in this world. Because God is going to make sure that you get the seed that you sow. You get what you sow. Whatever you sow, you shall reap. So my advice to you children is to start studying your own behavior. No, not like you do. You look at everybody else, and every time somebody say something to you about what you do, you want to bring up what someone else is doing or not doing. That ain't going to work. God said you must study your own life and own behavior, because from it you must draw the knowledge that you need for the future. So So you can decide whether it's beneficial for what you want to accomplish in life based on the standards that God has established. You can discover whether whatever you're doing, whether it's beneficial for you to accomplish what you want to accomplish in life. Because you're developing your beliefs and your attitude. And the question is, these beliefs and attitudes are supposed to be preparing you for the blessings and opportunities that are going to show up in the future. And a lot of times these blessings show up without you being aware. You have to recognize them. They don't come because you have planned them. God said if you obey me and do these things, the blessings will overtake you. You will be on the right road that God has you on because you honored and respected your parents. It will put you on the right road so that you can get God's blessing. This is an eternal blessing. The question is this: when the blessings come to overtake you, will you be on the right road? Or would you be on the side of the road? On that side of the road? Of Lord, behold, you ain't ran off in the meadow chasing butterflies without a net. Will you be in position to receive the blessings that God has promised? Because he said, do not turn to the left or to the right. Or will your blessings pass you by? They're like, Kurt is supposed to be on this road. This is a road of obedience and honor. This blessing has Curtis's name on it. It don't fit nobody else. And it shows up, and I'm out of place. I missed my opportunity because it was my season. It was my season to graduate and be in a proper position to live a successful life. But I missed my blessing of graduation, and I ended up on a road of struggle. I decided to get married because it was another major decision. But I got married thinking my life was going to be thus and thus and thus. It turned out to be a disaster. Why? Because you were out of line with your blessings. They came. You weren't there. Because God does not lie. God always is there when you come to the major decisions that you have to make in your life, which are part of your journey. He's there to provide the blessing that he promised, to assist you with all that you need to be successful. That's his promise. I don't know about running down to Chuck E. Cheese every time you feel like it. But when it's time for you to just transition from one place to the next in your life, God is definitely there. Because you need what you need to move to the next level. And he's going to make sure you're fully equipped. But not only to have the things you need, but also to give you what you want to enjoy the journey. He'll give you the knowledge when you go off to college because he's prepared you how to study, how to learn. So that you can enjoy the college experience in righteousness, not the beer parties. So that you won't have to spend all your time struggling to pass. Passing is one thing, but excelling is another. Because you have not prepared, you got to work night and day just to survive. If you call yourself a child of God and not operating in righteousness, you're working night and day just to survive the struggle of being called a child of God. Because there's always some challenge in your obedience to God. Because you don't have the strength you need to just overcome it and put it behind you. That you can walk in any lion's den, you can walk in any saloon, you can walk in Hooters, you can walk anywhere, go in and come out, know that you could and ain't gonna want to go back. Because you don't have to hide from the enemy. When you are empowered by God, you have been enlightened by God to recognize the enemy when you're saved. You see, from receiving your blessing. Which brings us to our first principle of functional family. In a functional family, children must submissively obey and honor their parents. Children must submissively and obediently honor their parents. That's an essential for a functional family. Function means to operate, to move about in the order that is needed to be effective and functioning as you should. Exodus 20:12. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. Honor your mother and father. It's not complicated. Obey and honor. Obey and honor. Because as you deal with your parents, shows your direct relationship with God. But you're not obeying your parents because they big and older than I am, they just want me to obey them. No, that's your responsibility. They're responsible to you. And you know, the thing is, they're teaching you how to function in this society because regardless of where you go, what you do, you're going to have to submissively obey and honor whatever you're in. You will be on your job doing like you're supposed to do, but if you're not honoring the culture, you won't stay there long. They tell you you're not supposed to be sagging on your job, and you think it's unfair. Yeah. They tell you they don't want you wearing braids on their job, and you might think it's unfair. And I expect us, hey, we respect your rights. But guess what? We have a right, especially in our calculating, to demand whatever we choose from our employees. You don't have to cut your hair. Guess what? We don't have to have you fucking hair. You don't have to pull them things up, but they won't be hanging down in here. That's so unfair. That's so racist. Cool. You can have that belief and philosophy if you own your own source of income. Mm-hmm. I couldn't handle the system. You know, my way just, I believe in honoring what you say. You don't honor what you say, I don't like it. I tell you I don't like it. But like I said, I mean, you can have your own stance, but you got to go. And a lot of times your stances on life will make you make some unbeneficial decisions based on where you at. And it ain't nothing like being unbenefited for a while to realize, you know what, if I ever get back in another one of those places, I'm going to do whatever they tell me to do, when they do it, and above. I want to do that to find, you know what, that just ain't right. So what? I didn't get on no mission. Look, you got to do something different. You don't like the administration, you know, get a better one. The best administrative staff that I could find was me. I've been out of that force since I was 27. I've never had a bad day with the administration. Boss has never looked down on me. Never has mistreated me. The boss has always been over and above to make sure I was happy. They allowed me to take off whenever I wanted to take off. I didn't have to have no doctor's excuses. I didn't have to get permission to come back to work. I could go to work some days and just say, you know what, I ain't doing nothing today. And they still love me and cherish me. I've never been written up. I've never been laid off. I've never got fired since. And when you're like a boss like that, how many look like a boss like that? Let me see your hand. Let me see your hand. Let me go and see them. Honor and obey your parents. Honor and obey your parents. You can be your own boss. Some of us can't be trusted to be our own boss. You won't get nothing done, especially if he blesses you. So that's the thing you have to understand. You must submissively and obediently honor your parents. It comes with a promise. The first commandment that comes with a promise. Why first? Because you are a child. Everyone wants a child. The first commandment you ever get is obey your parents and honor them. And your life will go well and be long. I've seen a lot of people cut their lives short because of the way that they treated their parents. I see a lot of people living miserable lives because of the way they treated their parents. Were in positions to do great things. Children who grow up with a secure and healthy relationship with their parents stand a better chance of developing happy and content relationships with others in their lives. These children learn to regulate emotions under stress and in difficult situations. That was one thing about growing up under my father's discipline. I never met a hard job after I left home. They said respect will carry you further than anything else. That is true. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. No, sir. What do you want me to do? Yes, sir, I'll do it. Talking, don't leave the job until you finish it. Yeah, there were times when quitting time came on my job, but I had a little bit more to do. I just went on and did it anyway. They told me it's time to go. I'll go and finish it for that. We can't pay it. I ain't doing it because I want to get paid. I don't want to be facing this tomorrow when I can finish it today. Yeah. Are you hearing me? This is what I do to keep my world straight. I don't look to get paid for it. I look to keep my world in order. And sometimes you have to do things just because it works best for you. And God's with anybody. I don't give them no extra. They ain't give me no extra. I'm not doing it for them. Come in tomorrow, I got to do this little bit. Man, I want to come in tomorrow with something new and fresh. So my mind will be set. This is very important because foolishness is bound up in the heart of the child. Mm-hmm. And the rod of instruction, the rod of instruction of discipline drives it from you. My dad was doing me a favor because I'm a palmer. He knew who palmer was. They were hard-headed, stubborn people. When they believe something, they believe it. And it would take a move of God to move them off. Mm-hmm. And he did everything he did to impress upon me. He was the closest thing to God that I would ever see. And that I should trust that what he was doing was best for me. Never liked it through the process. Couldn't wait to get away from home. But when I left it, I saw why. Because I wasn't on the proper road. There were a lot of days that the enemy was trying to destroy me. When things were hard and they weren't working like I wanted them to work, I remember him saying, keep on working, just stay at it. Just stay at it. Don't care how far New York is from here. If you leave walking, all you got to do is focus on one thing. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. Mm-hmm. Just keep doing it. Trust me. I don't care how bad it is. One thing, don't stop putting that foot in front of the other, because if you stop, you won't get there. Do it right so you don't have to come back. They used to tell me a lazy man will work himself to death. I'm like, how a lazy man will work himself to death? Because he got to keep on coming back, doing the same thing over and over, and I ain't getting nowhere. The energy that you work on, you use ducking work, ducking responsibilities, having to lie and deceive, and forgetting what you said comes with a lot of extra energy. A lazy man will work himself to death. I don't know why they kept telling that to us. A lazy man will work himself to death. My daddy didn't mind telling you, start over. What's that? Go on back there. Look down that road. Look like a black snake. I'm trying to hold the mule. It ain't the mule. Y'all don't know about no mule. But he told me, hey, look, man, you got to grab that plow. You just can't be like, I don't want to do it. Grab it with a foot. Take a thorn over that plow. Make it do what you wanted to do. No wonder the coaches thought I was some kind of super workout genius when I went to play football. Ain't lift a weight a day in my life. Coach calls me, this is my first time playing football. He calls me up one day in practice. Pound, give me that ball. Pound, give me that ball. What you want, Coach? Stand up here a minute. Fellas, you see this guy right here? That's the model athlete right there. A 4.3, 4.2, 4.4, 40 or something like that. Well, look at how he built. That's what a football player is supposed to look like. Why was I looking like that? Master that cloud. Holy strength. They ain't talking about from here to you. The road from here down tail. Hold it straight all the way down. Be proud when you can look down that road and be like, wow, that's a straight road. That's what they made me be proud of. 12 years old. 100-pound bags of fertilizer. Tractor coming by the truck that I'm driving. My job is to take those 100-pound bags of fertilizer, pick them up, stack them up here, pull the string off. Tractor pulls here. I take the 100-pound bag of fertilizer. I lift it up and dump it over in the harbor. My dad looking at me like smiling. That boy got it. I thought that was 12-year-olds were supposed to be doing. And I was doing everything I could to keep that smile on his face. All day long. No wonder they talking about standing up here in front of this thing. The point I'm making is this. I honored my parents. I respected them. I obeyed them. God blessed me at every transition that I got to, that I had to perform. He blessed me with the strength to lift those bags. He blessed, because then we stopped forming at 15. Knowledge when I needed, help when I needed. Why? Because of those simple principles. It doesn't matter what your body tells you can't do. All you have to understand is what the God said you can do. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. If everybody's getting what they need, then I'm on the right road that I am. In the verse, the next thing it says, fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Fathers, it's all on you. Doesn't matter how intelligent you are. Doesn't matter what you know or don't know. It's all about what you believe. What did God tell us? He says, fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction. Bring them up in discipline and instruction. Discipline and instruction. One thing my parents gave me was discipline and instruction. You need to learn how to cook for yourself, or you get married to a wife that ain't about nothing, and you won't cook for you. You be able to cook for yourself. Learn how to sew for yourself. Learn how to iron for yourself. Learn how to wash for yourself. Because I know some women out there won't do this to try to hurt you. So you cook. Teach us how to cook at this young age. Learn how to take care of yourself. Don't keep calling on us. We might not be here. Learn how to survive for yourself. And it works. I can do all those things. Well. But I got discipline and I got instructions. We're going to leave you here at 6 with your newborn brother. I got beans on the stove. You keep water in them. Don't let them beans burn, boy. My family despised burnt navy beans. I despise burnt navy beans. You keep watering them beans and you keep them stirred up. Don't just put water, you keep them stirred. You keep checking. Don't you be out here playing and forget my beans. When mama them came home, see that when you want to know what they're done, you take a little bit out the spoon and put them on some hard and mash. If you can mash them and they give you a mash, they perfect, cut them off. Now don't leave them on the stove, take them off the stove because it's still hot. Are you hearing me? Keep that boy dry. Yes, ma'am. Instructions have done me well. I only have problems when I start shortening on the instructions, because I've gotten smart. Fathers, as the head of the household, you are in charge with the ultimate responsibility for the way your children are raised. Fathers, you are commanded not to agitate or irritate your children. The Greek word is parodizit, which implies exasperation or frustration. You must learn how to deal with your children in a way that does not lead them to frustration. Fathers, you are responsible for establishing an environment free of conflict and strife, characterized by effective teaching and parental care. The teaching must be informative, relevant to daily needs, with depth to grow and use in daily life. Fathers, you must not quarrel, but you must be kind to all family members, able to teach and be patient with a difficult child. Don't ever say, why ain't you like your brother? Fathers, you are not to push your children toward anger, Ephesians 4:26. Fathers, you must learn to deal with your children in a way that shows care, wisdom, and thought for the future, concerning their judgment and reasoning, as you're dealing with them, seeing how they reason, seeing how they think. Now, children, don't try to take advantage of this, because there's a new breed of disobedience these days. Don't think we don't know that. We know when you really try. We also know when you're on a mission to undo the established. Yeah. Amen. There's been too many gone before you that have done it in all the ways that it could be done, that you think you're doing something new. That's your foolishness. We know ain't nothing new. It ain't but so many spirits there are. Yeah. All right? God has 7. If he ain't got the 7, Satan can't have no more than 6. Can't be equal with God. And that's the number of man. I'm going to stand on that. You know, you ain't got to do nothing else with it. But look, I observe that. Spirit of man. So don't think for a minute that you can do, because we've also been taught how to test the spirit by the spirits. So we can look past your pretty little smile. Fathers, you must learn to deal with your children in a way that shows care. Bring them up well under proper and compassionate correction and in knowledge of the duty God requires. These principles have all been tried and tested. They work. They work. You just have to decide whether you want to trust them. We've learned all of the elements up to this point, what each role is for everybody in the family. They work, culminating now to move into the ballot, which brings us to our second principle about a functional family. It requires discipline and instruction. It requires discipline and instruction. Proverbs 23:13-14. Do not withhold discipline from a child. If you strike him with a rod, he will not die. If you strike him with the rod, you will save his soul from Sheol. Raising up a child to maturity takes about 18 years, so you still got time. During this time, you must train your child to develop the attitude, beliefs, values, and philosophy on life and truth that honor God. 3 John 1:2. Proverbs 23:13-14. Do not withhold discipline from a child. If you strike him with a rod, he will not die. If you strike him with the rod, you will save his soul from Sheol. During this time of raising, you must train your child to develop the attitude, beliefs, values, and philosophy on life and truth that honor God. For your children to develop in this manner, you must train them in the word of righteousness. For your children to develop in this manner, you must train them in the word of righteousness. To discern good and evil, that's the only way possible. Teaching them to turn away from anything that stimulates youthful lust, to pursue righteous living, faithfulness, love, and peace. You must teach your children the benefit and how to enjoy the companionship of those who call on the Lord with a pure heart. You got to teach your children the benefit of hanging out with people that are accomplishing or practicing what it is you're trying to accomplish and achieve. Not talk about how bad and how square they are, because you're using the wrong standard to measure who they are. We talk about being in a position to enjoy the blessings that God has promised. Teach your children the benefit of how to enjoy the companionship of those who call on the Lord with a pure heart. Deuteronomy 6:7. Fathers, you must be diligent and consistent in teaching your children the ways of God. Fathers, you must be diligent and consistent in teaching your children in the ways of God. It's got to be consistent. You have to be diligent at it. Because your mind's going to tell you they don't want to hear it. Their expression's going to tell you they don't want to hear it. Their body language is going to tell you they don't want to be involved. But guess what they can't do? Cut that hearing off. You don't have to like it. I'll just be passing out knowledge today. I ain't going to ask you to participate. I'm just going to pass this knowledge into your hearing because I know once it get in there, you ain't going to be able to shake it. Amen. God's going to do what he needs to do with it at the point of time. But see, the enemy don't want you to put it in. Yeah. Puts an impression on you. You good, because raising a child to maturity takes about 18 years. Takes about 18 years. During this time, you must train your child to develop the attitude of the pure heart. Fathers, you must diligently and consistently be consistent in teaching your children the ways of God. Fathers, it's your spiritual involvement and intervention in your child's day-to-day life that lays the foundation for better spiritual, social, and academic skills development. It's your spiritual involvement and interacting. That's important. Your spiritual involvement in their day-to-day life functions. You have to be involved. When your child has a spiritual relationship with you, they tend to grow up to have higher levels of spiritual growth and development, as well as a better quality of life. As I said, these truths have been tried and practiced. We have data. We have examples to show you that it works. It's not a theory any longer. It is definitely proved truth. Because you have to have your own experience to know whether the Word of God works for real or not. That's why you could be able to have your faith in what you believe. Because it's not about proving it to others. It's about proving it to yourself. Because God has made so many promises to you that are based on your faith in what he said. And you can't have that level of faith when times get really hard. And it looks like it's all is failing. The only way you're going to stay is that you have proof that God keeps his word. Because there are some times God said, I'll let you go hungry. So I'll take you through a storm so bad you won't even know your own name. But all you got to do is stand on what I've already proven you. That I do what I say I'll do at the time that's going to be best for you. Not to prove to you that I can do it, but to prove you by testing you. So you will know and experience that I do it. Not quit and say, I believe you can do it, but walk your way all the way through it. When your child has a spiritual relationship with you, they tend to grow up to have high levels of spiritual growth and development as well as a better quality relationship. Psalm 127, 3-5 says, Fathers, our children are a heritage and reward from the Lord. Your children are one of the ways you bless the world. The more you have, the blessed you are. The more you have, the blessed you are. How blessed do you want to be, saints? Okay. Raise them in the way of the Lord, and your enemy will never be able to put you to shame because of them. Raise your children in the way of the Lord, and the enemy will never be able to use them against you. Our children are precious to us and to this world. The more of them we put into the world and the path of God, the better off the world becomes. A functional family works for everyone in the family, not for just a few members. It nurtures the spiritual, physical, emotional, and social development of your child. A functional family provides an environment free of conflict and strife with a unique bond that every child and parent learns and develops to enjoy.
You're supposed to enjoy being with your family members. You're supposed to be enjoying going out with them. You're supposed to enjoy just having that opportunity to fellowship and do things together. Unless we study our family history and make a determination to drive out the spirit of dysfunction and conflict and strife, will continue to rule our families. The lessons we learned yesterday provide the new lessons of today and tomorrow as we strive to undo dysfunctional behavior. Fathers, you should dedicate your children to God as living sacrifices and spiritual priests to serve God faithfully all the days of their life. Every child is different. Every child is different, fathers. And you must be taught, and they must be taught in their way, the way they learn, the way they think. And you need to think about this the next time you sit down with your child and you try to teach them about the ways of God. God tells us as shepherds to know your flock. Over the time with you, I've gotten to know you, how you learn, how you do things, how you perceive things, with an open mind of constantly seeing you grow and change. Listening more to you than trying to tell you what I think. Challenging you to be who God has called you to be by asking you, what has God taught you? What do you perceive you should do in this situation? Because regardless of what I tell you, you need to do what you believe you need to do so that you can have peace one way or the other. Because even if you do what I tell you to do and it works, in the back of your mind, that's no proof that what you believe won't work. So you have to be given the freedom to grow however you want to go. It could be a painful journey. It could be a great journey for those that are watching. But it's your decision to make. Our job is to make sure we give you the information that we have so you can have something to choose from. But ultimately, you're going to have to make the decision, children. You're going to have to decide how you want your life to be. And don't you think for one minute because of your education, where you think you might be going, what you think you might be doing is going to be an answer. The answer is going to be what are you doing with what God tells you to do? So he is the creator of all things. Everything happens according to his plan, his will, his way. You're never in between one or the other. You're either serving God or you're serving Satan. You ain't no island within yourself where you do your own thing and you fight between both of them trying to have your life. You are sadly misguided. We must learn new ways of thinking, feeling, and interacting to create a life that works for us and is fully functional to glorify God. This provides healing that happens in spiritual growth and development. It provides the healing that can only happen through spiritual growth and development. That's why we should be focused, fathers. You have a great mission ahead of you, but Lord, look at the resources you got. And moving forward, don't you dare look behind you. Don't you dare think about yesterday, did or didn't do. What the saying goes? Know better, do better. Know better, become better. And all that knowledge you got from the past, it should be used now to help you move forward. Because you know exactly what you need to do, and you know exactly what you need to stop doing. We good? We're going to hear some music. I want you to think about what we said, fathers. Because really get this down, because we're getting ready to go into battle. Now that you know what's required to be healthy, what's required to be strong, and who God called you to be, now you're getting ready to go to work, go to battle. Coming out of basic training. Time for real bullets. Time for tough decisions. We good? Let's give a lot of hand praise.